Hello friends, welcome back to Let's Play Kingdoms of Amalur. We are currently in the Archsage's Mind, Jubal Calidus, and I believe we have to, what did it say, defeat some holds that CR has on him. So I'm not quite sure what that means, but before we do that, let's check out that book that we got. Also, ironically, I did leave him for a second, go back to the main world, salvaged a bunch of gear, sold some other stuff, so we're now down to 51 out of 100 inventory limit and not 80 or 98, I think it was. So we'll have room for some new gear. There probably shouldn't be any gear inside of here, but a lot of times video games don't really follow the logic there, so we'll see. But I do want to read this, maybe? Okay. The Fall of the Dark Empyrean. And so it came to pass that in the years of strife, when the tyrant queen Sidanis had sown the fields of Aradel through thigh deep with blood, three unlikely souls found the way out of the dark. The first was a man named Eludun Bloodgood. A Varani shaper, he came to Arethel from far to the north, searching the world for the knowledge of stone. After refusing to build a temple in Sidanis' name, he was cast into prison. The second was a gnome named Maris Torix. A gifted Gnosticant, he had long ago left the safety and comfort of his libraries to travel the world, to learn of things with his own eyes. For teaching a doctrine different from the unquestioning worship of Sidanis and her regime, he too was cast into prison. So I think these are probably the three founders whose statues are in the courtyard. The third was born deep within the dungeons of Erthir, a young Alfar girl named Eleanor Brea, who grew to maturity blinded by the darkness that was her only home. Upon Eleanor Brea's ascendance to adulthood deep within the dark of Empyrean's prisons, the gifts of her elemental magics came to her. In fury, the girl burned the dungeon to the ground. Guided by Masters Torix and Bloodgood, she learned to wield her gift, and together the three of them dared to fight against the tyrant queen. Word spread quickly of the new group of masters, mages, and artisans who would teach any willing to learn. In time, others courageous enough to challenge the Empyrean's might came forward, and what had started with a resistance of 3 quickly became 10, then 100, then 1,000. Terrible battles of magic were waged, thousands perished, entire cities were scourged from the face of the world, and untold horrors were birthed as each side tried desperately to craft the means of their victory. The Empyreans sought the destruction of their enemies by any method. No sacrifice was too great, no atrocity too horrid. The darkest and the foulest of arts were pursued, and the cost of the populace was unrivaled by that of anyone's memory. But the light of the three refused to be extinguished. The strength of Master Bloodgood, his wisdom and his skill, set the form and foundation of their hope. The brilliance of Master Torix, his knowledge and his insight unlocked the chains of their bondage, and the passion of Mistress Brea, her spirit and her fury, lit the way to freedom. What none could do alone, these three achieved together. 7 years after earning their freedom, high upon the heights of the spire of Erthir, they battled Sidanis, and the Dark Empyrean was imprisoned. Too powerful to be destroyed, she was contained beneath that which would become the grounds of the Scholia Arcana, sealed away by the arcane glyphs and runes of our three founders. Here she will remain, and you, Archsage, are the only sentinel of her prison. For on this foundation was the Order built, to reach the greatest extents of knowledge, lest the reigns of the Dark Empyrean returns again. Guard this wisdom, and find a worthy successor. Different paths had led each into the chains of slavery, but it was there that each found strength from the other, and together found their freedom. And so it was that the Scholia Arcana came to be. Alright, cool little story, and some insight into the truth of the founding of the Scholia Arcana. So the Dark Empyrean is like this force, which I guess was, what's her name previously? Queen Sidanis, and now is Ciara, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe it was possessing all of them. I was thinking the Imperium was like the Empire, like the name for the Empire, but it seems to also have been the name of the entity that ruled it. And the very same entity we are now facing. So it makes sense why this is like their headquarters. This was literally the birthplace of the Order. I do hope there's some more quests after this, though, and this isn't just like the final quest of this quest line. That would be a little disappointing. The possession begins. Okay, so it's just like books and keys, maybe? It has come. What a frame has warned me of, the fear that has plagued the mind of every archsage of our order, has come to pass. She has awoken, she has found a way from her cell. I thought when such a time came it would prove to be a more marked event, that we would notice as the harbinger of her freedom. And though I had reports of an initiate whose trial killed some savants and drove others to madness, she did not appear immediately. and that was her greatest triumph. For all that we knew of her, we expected her appearance to be marked by cataclysm and chaos. The raging storm has no need of subtlety and cleverness, for with a whim its winds can rip flesh from bones and burn all in its path. But she knew we would gird ourselves for such assaults, and connived to overwhelm the strongest of our orders from the shadows. And now there are two left, myself and the mind of the initiate who is present at her summoning. I guess that'd be me. Even now I feel my mind beginning to falter. Ethan Engar must have fallen, and with him there is but one left whom I can support in earnest to assume the mantle of Archsage. So he wants me to be the Archsage. I'm not sure I have time for that. But I cannot falter yet. I will summon the once-was initiate here, and with aid wrest control of my mind free from the dark sorceress. To have my mind walked upon is troubling. Whoops. Weird scroll bar. There are many things in here I wish no one to face or learn, for they are the things I had to rid myself of long ago, when I assumed leadership of the Scholia Arcana. But if she is to be felled, I must get rid of her. So I wonder what the mantle key is necessary for. And have some Liashes here. These guys can certainly be tough. Also, I bound our mysterious potions, so health regen, that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and summon Axie. I think help us take on these Liantians. A little bit of health steal there, it looks like, and a little bit of health lost. Okay, let's try a sword for this one. Whoops. She's fast. Not fast enough. Alright, sword seems pretty effective against these guys. They're powerful magic users, but not too sturdy, although they do have some health steal or some healing of their own. Ooh, good dodge. Didn't dodge those. I like how they track kind of like the tornadoes that we get thrown at us sometimes. And some gold. I guess somehow we can steal gold from his mind. The mantle passes. He has passed. After but a few weeks upon attaining the level of savant, I was summoned to the chambers of the Archsage, deep in the cavern beneath our chapter house, and I found him on the floor, struggling for breath but otherwise still. Helped to his senses, he reveals that he was dying, and though Balin had reached out to take Ephraim, he had yet to draw him to death. It was then that he laid everything bare. No truth was omitted, no lie spoken. The true purpose of our order, the true meaning of our values and studies were after all my life made plainly understood. And with that he passed, pressing the band of cloth, the ring of the Archsage, into my hand. I was to take the reins, he said. For better or worse, it had to be me. So interesting that he was just made savant and then became Archsage a few weeks later. I guess the other savants weren't worthy, or was like he the only savant at the time for some reason. I think we'll need to go both ways eventually. Seems like there's a variety of things here. Oh, block that. Didn't resist that one, or didn't resist the effect of it at least. What's he gonna do? Punch me, that's what. Getting a little better at fighting these guys. They're definitely still tough opponents, though. Good, he's been stunned. And down he goes. More treasure. And the lanterns light the way.
Persistent, aren't you? From ruins to mountaintops, even in the mind of your pathetic arch-sage, who, despite you standing here, has given up hope. In fact, right now he is trying to tell you it is useless to fight Ciara Sedanis.
Okay, so Ciara and Queen Sedanis are the same person. Ciara's just her first name. Although I don't think he's given up hope. He seemed to be hanging on when we talked to him. How are you manipulating him?
In all the minds I have seen, there have been none that carried such indifference as this arch-sage. Does he care about the wars that wage across his land? No. Does he care for the lives of his subordinates? Not in the slightest. He long ago surrendered to the inevitability of my return.
Well, at least it seems like he's prepared for it. So you are Ciara Sedanus.
Yes. I am the tyrant queen of the Dark Empyrean. The fools of the Scholia Arcana believe I was killed, but the Arch-Sage knows the truth. It is, perhaps, why he has surrendered all hope. He knows I cannot be defeated, only delayed.
Well, hopefully we can delay her for a good while longer. Although if we're immune to fate, maybe we actually can kill her? You know how this will end.
I do, as does this Arch-Sage. Look at this man. He is a pawn of fate, completely surrendered to it. He has hidden this apathy from the world, but now, let it be seen. The demons of this man's mind are yours to contend with, child.
Okay, so this is representation of his indifference. Ooh, Niscaro. And I just dodged right into them. Alright, let's try to do some blocking and then come out swinging. I hit dodge, but it didn't go fast enough. It looks like Axie is destroyed. Let's use one of these and see what it does. Health regen. Love that. Okay, probably gonna pay for that. Nope, not really. Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Okay, gotta start blocking because they're just too fast to dodge, it seems. Jeez, these guys are... Alright. Glad Niscaro at least are still... There's some health steal. Okay, nice. And there's Battle Frenzy. Getting lucky on the health steal this time. Alright. Best defense is a good offense. Just had to get off the back foot there. Ooh. And now I guess she's fighting me. Okay, I thought it was just going to be the Niscaro. I got back in her bubble again. No worries. Knock you back out. And down you go. Alright. A few pieces of actual loot there. Some extra gold for our detect hidden skill, which is cool. So yeah, it seems like we'll be facing the specters of 3 of his flaws, which is kind of cool. Oh, that's an interesting gnome statue. That must be Master, what's his name? The same guy who was one of the founders of the Scholia Arcana. Yeah, it's like we have all kinds of enemies here. This is cool. This guy should be a little easier than the Niscaro. In fact, it's hard to imagine an enemy more dangerous than the Niscaro, which kind of makes sense because they're like very common in the main quest, it seems. Although I guess the Tuath are like our main enemy. Honestly, they're not as bad as the Niscaro are. At least in my experience. Interesting bridge. Not sure I trust it, but I guess we are in his mind. Have some kind of blessing there too. I don't remember getting that. What is that from? Oh, disease immunity. Okay, that's fine. Not the most helpful thing in here.
And so my attempts to foster his indifference seem to have met their end. It does not matter. I have accomplished all I would have liked to. My freedom is guaranteed. So I can focus my attentions on you. You are my closest friend, after all.
Aw.
You served your purpose well.
What have you done to his mind?
This body is the incarnation of the Archsage's goals and ideals. For all his aspirations, the man is a slave to his discipline. It is a pity. Had I the time to foster some of these ambitions, he would make a useful pawn, just like you.
What did you mean, my purpose?
Do you not understand, child? It was your initiation that freed me.
Ah.
The magic of the spell could not find your potential, and so it chose the greatest power this world has ever known.
Well, I hope not, because if she's the greatest power, that's going to be a little bit anticlimactic. I would assume that Gadflow, or more likely his God he serves, is going to be the greatest power we face in this game. Or maybe one of the final bosses of the DLC. Leave the Archsage's mind.
Yes, it is a tawdry thing, after all. But his goals and ideas are too delicious to leave alone.
I still want to say Archmage.
And all around us you can see the parts of himself he sacrificed, just to reach this pathetic level of power. Let us reawaken some of these cast-offs. I think they might enjoy it. You will
It's funny that his flaws are like ambition and indifference. Like those seem kind of opposites there. Sacrifice. They're all sacrifice, just a bunch of them this time. Okay. Develop an axes down. Okay, let's do this. Try to attack some of the ones that are outside of the shield. Battle Frenzy. Oh, I'm stuck. Uh-oh. That's not good. I'm actually literally stuck on this rock. It's gonna suck if I have to like... Okay, that... Nope, I was hoping that would knock me out of it. I mean, I can probably kill these guys at range. Okay, good. Whew. No, oh, that's Axie, that's not me. I'm still stuck. That's really annoying. I'll use the chakrams. Nope, out of range. Okay, I got one hit in. But I still got knocked up onto this rock and now I'm stuck here. Oh, that's annoying. Is there like a stuck command? Let me just Google it real quick. Let's see what they say. Yeah, reload the last autosave. And you could fast travel, but yeah. It does say try a new save, so let's do it. A new save and reload. Oh, it's auto-saving right now, okay. So let's try loading that one and see what happens. Fingers crossed. Nope, we're still stuck. Okay, well, I will load a previous save and redo that part of the quest and come back in a bit. Alright, we are back. I have replayed this level and we are no longer stuck. All the same, I'm going to keep a safe distance from those rocks. While running around though, I did find some more scrolls in these little chests, some of which I don't think we read, so give me a second here. Yeah, here's a bunch of stuff. I think some of these we did read before I had to redo this, but let's scroll through them, no pun intended, and catch the few that we missed. Professor Eowillin was sore at me today because my potion was able to cure the aurochs of Cloverbloat and Valyon's wasn't. She said I had relied too much on luck to ensure my balances were correct and that Valyon's reagents had wilted in the summer heat. But I know the real reason she's mad is because her prize student isn't as good as the human. The Alfar seems to have wielded magic since always, and humans have had to make do otherwise, but every day I feel stronger and stronger. The Alfar know I'm not the only human who can use magic to this degree. and they know it. A little redundant there. They're afraid that they're going to lose the only thing that's kept them lording over us for decades, and Professor Eowillin thinks that I'm the face of the coming change. She's afraid of me, she should be. When I was less than 2 and 5, I burned my family's woodshed to the ground with a thought. Some of her students had to train for years before they could make as much as a cinder. And even though I'm good at it, I'm not going to spend my life studying potion craft and writing tomes. The heat from that fire still warms my hand. It's a comfort. The only one I still have left. I assume the only comfort, not the only hand. And I was reading this as the Archmage. Well, I guess it could also be Ciara. Because this does seem like maybe it's longer ago than recently, or is this increase in human magic really in the last like 50, 60 years? I didn't realize, I knew that Fey magic was fading and that humans were on the rise. Sorry, I keep scrolling. But I didn't realize the Alfar were the only ones that had magic before recently, and humans have not gained it too. So I don't know if the Alfars was like always high and humans is gaining, or if the Alfars is fading as well. I still think the Alfar are like half Fey, half human, or were at some point. So I wonder if that's why we had magic before and now the humans are gaining it. But I suppose we'll learn more about that later in the game. This one we have read before, okay. The possession begins. So I think these are all from the Archmage. And I think I read this one too. Yeah. We did read this one. So how about the world I left? Seems to have started at the bottom. Oh, it's just, okay, it's an excerpt from a larger text, it seems. And if she thought that leaving those flowers pressed in the tome would work, she was right. By the gods, I thought that years of books and tutelage and learning would be enough to prepare me for anything, for the world of troubles and problems that I might eventually have to solve, and they did not. Nothing could have prepared me for her, sitting on a hill and waiting for me as the sun came down, the wind teasing out the red-brown hair that flowed like water and wine, so long for it had never touched a blade in its life. She laughed and it smelled like apples smell. She smiled and it sounded like birds in spring. I only came to test her aptitude to spellcraft, and in those scant seconds before we spoke to one another, I nearly fell so far into her eyes that I could not hope to escape. How could a force as strong as this exist? Am I just a fool in a line of fools that spans the centuries? Disarmed though I was, I carried out my duly appointed task. She laughed and told me that she had no desire to lead a life of craft and books and study, to forsake life as it is lived for life as it might be. And looking into her eyes, I could not come to find her at fault. There is a world out there that is different from one that we of the Scholia lead. I walked away from that world some time ago, and only once when I met her have I ever had cause to regret that decision. So I guess Scholia mages can't marry or fall in love? Like, I'm not sure I signed up for this. I didn't know it was like the Jedi Order in that respect. Alright, I think we read... Oh, this is an old thing, right? Yeah, oh... Yeah, I think we read this a while ago. Alright, so now that we're all caught up on our reading, let's get back to adventuring. And we do have actually... Okay. One more here. Mommy isn't crying. The funny men with pointed ears are taking me, and Mommy isn't crying, but she looks like she will. Isn't she sad? Why isn't she being sad? She might be mad at me still for what I did to the woodshed, but it wasn't my fault. I didn't mean to. I just got so scared when the dog got near me that I threw my hands up, and then there was fire and heat, and the woodshed was on fire, and I didn't know. I didn't want to make it, but the dog caught fire too, and I couldn't stop it. I could only stare and watch as everything started to burn around me, and I was sorry. I was so sorry, but it wasn't enough. Daddy found me and hit me hard once in the eye and once in the back, and I told him, I said, Daddy, I didn't mean to, and he did it anyways. I was so sorry, and he kept hitting me until I stopped crying, but Mommy just stood there, and she was crying, but it was quiet, and it was to herself, and it's like watching her now as they're taking me away. They have me by the hand, and they're leading me away, and no one's saying goodbye, and no one's saying I'll miss you, and no one's saying they love me. I am put in the care of strangers, and I'm going away forever to learn how I made things burn. I'm so sorry, Mommy, and I'm so very sorry. Well, that's sad. I guess, I'm not sure how he's, like, rating it as he's walking, but, I guess that's the kid version of him when he was first taken away, and I'm sure that trauma still haunts him to this day. Alright, stay away from rocks. Although I think I probably got hit there like during the battle, so I'm probably safe now. But nonetheless. And I'm guessing as we go back here, there's going to be like one final battle against another apparition of her before we've truly freed his mind. Certainly wouldn't mind that. Yep, I see a quest marker up ahead. We have Axie with us? We do. Okay, good.
Well done, Adept.
Oh, it's actually, I guess, the real aspect of him.
I no longer feel the prying of Sardanis on my mind. You have freed me of her. Thank you, Adept.
You're
By
welcome.
freeing me of her influence, I can distill for you those thoughts you have liberated. From my ambition, I can impart to you an indomitable resolve. From my indifference, I can craft a fearless impartiality. The choice is yours.
So I assume this is a twist of fate, or maybe just like a permanent bonus. Or not necessarily twist of fate. Sometimes you get like those, like the blessing we got from the Church of Lyria. I wonder what they actually do, though. Like maybe he'll give me some more details here. How can you give this gift?
I am the Archsage, but I am also a human. There were certain flaws of character that I had repressed. Sardanis intensified those flaws until they threatened to overcome me. By destroying them, you freed me of these flaws. I can give you the knowledge of this freedom.
So he's giving me the freedom from indifference and, what was it, ambition? What are the options again?
From my indifference, I can impart to you a sense of fearlessness. Through ambition, you can gain a will to strive for perfection. In many ways, they seem similar, but to you, the effects are disparate.
They do seem similar. So it's fearlessness. So I'm trying like to debate, do I do this as like a gameplay decision where it's like which one would give me better stats? And I don't really want to look it up because that feels like cheating. The way they phrase it here, discipline sounds better. I was thinking fearlessness at first. I'm going to fast forward to this, but I just want to see it one more time.
From my indifference, I can
Sense
impart
of
through ambition.
fairness,
You can gain a will to, in many ways,
or a will to
they
strive
seem
for
similar,
perfection.
but to you, the effects are disparate.
I don't know, like will to strive for perfection sounds a little bit too. I don't know. Both these sound a little bit weird because, like, you know, I do like fear's a good thing. It protects you from doing things that might harm you. Not that courage isn't also a good thing, but oh, I actually got tired of me waiting and decided to go to bed. Okay, so, and I like the sound of discipline, although I don't. I feel like the will to strive for perfection is like, is that something I need to be given? Like, am I going to become like, you know, OCD now if I'm constantly looking for perfection? That could be terrible. But got to make a decision. I think my character is kind of getting into his mage era. In fact, maybe this quest line of the Scholia Arcana is what really kind of presses him to really lean into his mage side. It'd be kind of cool if he was human and then it's like, oh, the magic is rising. But we are part human, I think. Anyway, I choose discipline. All right, +1 to sorcery abilities. Okay, that's actually really good because if that's permanent. So I wonder if the first one then, I was kind of thinking that it might be like more of a warrior one, and this is more of a sorcery mage one. So I was kind of thinking it was more in terms of like physical resistance versus like elemental resistance, but this is even better because if we get +1 to all sorcery abilities, I assume I could then respec and then spend those points elsewhere.
Indeed. You have shown enough of it on your own for one lifetime, but we will need all we can muster to face the coming storm. Now, are we able to depart? We have much to do in order to begin.
All right, so we've freed his mind, but obviously we have not defeated Ciara, and I imagine we'll still have a few quests before that. Let's go back.
Good. When we return, speak with me. The sorceress will not be suffered any longer.
Agreed. Well, it's a shame we couldn't save any of the savants, but I'm glad we saved the Archsage at least. Alright, well, I think that's probably a good place to end things. So we will take a break here, and when we will come back, we'll talk to the Archsage and find the next stage of the Scholia Arcana quest line. So thank you guys very much for watching. Have a great day or night, and I'll see you again soon.